Knock it! Sorry.
Hey guys, Dalek44 here. I need no introduction, but I got one anyway. Who else besides me here loves Doctor Who? Doctor Who has been on television since 1963 and has entertained and scared audiences around the world for years, celebrating its 50th anniversary and coming up to its 60th, featuring many monsters including the Daleks, the Cybermen and many more, and various actors playing the iconic character. The show is now into its 12th series, with the already returned Master and Jadoon, and an upcoming return for the Cybermen. So it's needless to say that Doctor Who is a huge part of British culture and a huge British icon. And with how popular Doctor Who has gotten in this over 50-year run, who else besides me wouldn't love to see a Lego movie version of Doctor Who? Since we'd already gotten the Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie, the Lego Ninjago movie, and the Lego Movie 2 the second part, and the possible upcoming Lego Batman movie 2 and possible Billion Brick Race movie coming up soon, then who's to say that we couldn't have a Lego Doctor Who movie based on the iconic TV series? Of course this would have to be done with permission from the BBC themselves, since they own the rights to the show. But if they could get the rights to use the Daleks in the Lego Batman movie, I see no reason why they could get the rights to do a parody movie of Doctor Who with permission from the BBC. Now, making a Lego movie based on the Doctor Who franchise could be quite a debate, since the show is owned by the BBC and the Lego movie franchise is currently owned by Warner Brothers and soon to be owned by Universal. But here are some of the ideas I have for a Lego Doctor Who movie. Ever since I bought the LEGO Ideas Doctor Who TARDIS set, bought the LEGO Dimensions video game with the Doctor Who level pack, and watched all the LEGO movies that have come out so far, I've come up with my own ideas of how the Doctor Who LEGO movie could work. My main idea for the movie would be a multi-Doctor story where we'd see every single Doctor show up, from William Hartnell to Patrick Troughton to John Pertwee to Tom Baker to Peter Davison to Colin Baker to Sylvester McCoy to Paul McGann to the late Sir John Hurt to Christopher Eccleston, to David Tennant, to Matt Smith, to Peter Capaldi, and to Jodie Whittaker herself. And since Jodie is the current Doctor at the moment, I think it would make sense for her to be the main character of the Doctor Who LEGO movie. And one idea for this I have is that the opening of the movie shows with a clip of each Doctor fighting various villains. Like, say, the first Doctor fighting against the Daleks, John Pertwee's Doctor fighting against the Silurians, Tom Baker and the Zygons, and David Tennant the Sontarans, and Matt Smith possibly the Silents, and Peter Capaldi the Cybermen, which I think would make sense since they're his favourite villains, and perhaps have Jodie Whittaker facing off against the Master. It's just random ideas that I think would fit with the various Doctors and the actors who've portrayed them, and how popular their villains were at the time. And then through some weird wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey thing, all Doctors would get joined up together for this great adventure that involves all of them having to save the universe from a great threat. And their adventure would have them facing off many classic monsters including the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Sontarans, the Autons, the Zygons, Davros, the Silurians, and all sorts of villains from Doctor Who's 50-odd year history. For me, the whole idea of bringing every Doctor Who villain together for a movie plot is very similar to the Lego Batman movie, when you have all the DC villains together and all of the Phantom Zone villains together consisting of different franchises. And of course it would be a callback to the Pandorica opens and the time of the Doctor. And their adventures would take them to every corner of the galaxy trying to find out what's going wrong with the universe and how to fix everything. And on their journeys they would come across all the many villains that I've mentioned before, who would give them a sort of hint as to who's behind the whole plot. And then about halfway through the story, it would all come down to the Master being behind all this along with his previous incarnations, which I think would be fitting since we got every single Doctor for this plot. So it would make sense to me to have every single Master from the past, present and future come in too. the Master would somehow make an alliance with all these villains to help him conquer the universe, only to leave them in the dust once he got what he wants. And through learning lessons about teamwork and getting along with each other, since the Doctors have been known to banter with their few incarnations, then all the Doctors would eventually team up to defeat all these villains and the Masters and save the universe from total destruction. And that's my main idea for a main plot of the movie. And I have so many ideas on how these various monsters and characters could work out. Like, part of me really wants to see all the original actors come back to voice the characters, as well as some various actors doing impressions of actors that have passed away. Like someone who could do a Patrick Troughton voice and someone who could do a John Pertwee similar voice. And obviously get someone to try and do a John Hurt voice, since he passed away as well. Or at least if they aren't on board with getting all the classic actors in to do the voices, I've saved them at least get actors who can do pretty good impressions of the actors. Like, I've seen a clip of Dead Winds with them doing Tom Baker's Doctor Who Living with the Cybermen, and the guy that does it does a pretty good impression of Tom Baker.
It is true. The Time Lord is forbidden from interfering directly with the affairs of other life forms.
So I think probably hiring him would be really good if they couldn't get Tom Baker to do it. Now, I'm not 100% sure which of the two would work, either bringing the original actors back or getting actors to do impressions of them would work, but either one would be pretty good in my opinion. But one thing I say they should definitely do is bring in Nicholas Briggs to voice the Daleks, Cybermen and the Jadoon, since that's what he's best known for in the show. And on the subject of the Daleks, I say that we use two various types of Daleks. The Dalek that we got in LEGO Dimensions, and the Daleks that we got to see in the LEGO Batman movie, bringing two Dalek factions together. And all the many characters and villain designs I feel would be really appropriate to have used LEGO Dimension designs, especially with the Cybermen and all the Doctors, and Davros. And I would also have the movie open and close in a similar way to the LEGO Ninjago movie, with some kids going to this LEGO convention, meeting up with this guy building Doctor Who LEGO sets, and he ends up telling them a story about how the Doctor saved the universe, which goes into the story. So it would sort of blend into the continuity of the LEGO Ninjago movie, as well as showing other LEGO worlds out there besides Ninjago and Finn's basement. Having this story take place with someone else's point of view and imagination with LEGOs would just add to the whole wide universe that the LEGO Ninjago movie created. A LEGO world beyond Finn's basement. It's just a crazy idea I have, but I think it could work. And similar to how the LEGO Batman movie made tons of references to the Caped Crusader himself, I think it would make sense for the LEGO Doctor Who movie to throw in tons of references to his 50-odd year history, like throwing a few nods to the classic series, and a lot of nods from the new series as well. Just a great way to make many references to the show's history. And for the sake of continuity with Finn's LEGO world, here's the idea I have for a LEGO Doctor Who movie that would take place within Finn's universe. Ever since I've been playing LEGO Dimensions, I always used to team up the Doctor with Unikitty. So the idea came to me to have Unikitty being the Doctor's companion in this movie. Like with Unikitty, the plot would pretty much be the same as I'd listed before, except have Finn and Bianca go to the convention and meet up with the Doctor Who LEGO builder, and him noticing that they bought along their Unikitty minifigure, so he decides to incorporate her into the story. And just to show some continuity to Unikingdom like they did in the LEGO Movie 2, have the Daleks invade Unikingdom and surround Unikitty, only to have the Doctor intervene and save her, bringing her along on his travels. While some people may not want to see Unikitty in a LEGO Doctor Who movie, I think it'd be quite a fun thing to add to it, since I used to play as Unikitty and the Doctor in LEGO Dimensions. I mean, it worked for me when I did it in Second Co, so why not do it for the big screen? And it would just connect Doctor Who to Finn's LEGO world. And if we're gonna do that, I'd say probably give a cameo to General Sweet Mayhem from the LEGO Movie 2. Just like say have one of the Doctors passing through the Sistar system and bumping into General Sweet Mayhem and saying hi. And perhaps have the Doctor talk about how Rex attempted to use his TARDIS to build his time-travelling spaceship. Just adding to the continuity of the movies. And plus, I think it'd be really adorable to see Unikitty reacting to the various monsters she comes across, like the Daleks and the Cybermen and so on and so forth. And I would absolutely love to see what her reaction would be to meeting K9. Yeah, include K9 in the movie too, since he's iconic. I just think that Unikitty would be a great side character to be with the Doctor and interact with his/her adventures. And it would just be really fun to see how she reacts to the different worlds the Doctors visit. Just throwing in her Unikitty charm and probably having that thing where they did in the Lego Movie 2 where she's trying to get back on camera every minute she can. Like with the intermission scene and the end scene where she sticks her head in the corner of the screen. That may sound better inside my head, but I just think it would be a really nice way to connect the Doctor Who Lego world to Finn's Lego world from the previous films. Either do it without her, making it similar to the Lego Ninjago movie where there's various Lego worlds outside of Finn's basement, or connecting it to Finn's basement like they did with the Lego Batman movie. It's just two ideas I have that I think might work. But I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And speaking of various Lego characters like Unikitty and Sweet Mayhem, I think it'd be really cool to have other space and time travelling Lego characters show up. Like I'd really love to see the Doctor interacting with Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and possibly throwing in E.T. and perhaps other alien themes that Lego have done. Hell, they could even give Benny the 1980s something space guy a cameo. Just a cool way to show the various histories of space that Lego's had over the years. So those are my two ideas for a Lego Doctor Who movie in the Lego movie franchise. And it might not happen since the BBC owns Doctor Who and Warner Brothers / Universal doesn't. But it's an interesting idea for me, and it would be a dream come true if it did happen in the future. These ideas may not work outside of my head, but I think that they could work if done with the right writers and the right team. And of course they would have to get permission from the BBC to do it first before they go on ahead and do it. But it's just my idea for a Lego Doctor Who movie that could or could not happen in the future. But whether or not it does happen, it's still a fun idea to think of, in my opinion. And if you guys have any other ideas for future Lego movies, then let me know what they are in the comments section below. So a Lego Doctor Who movie is something that I would love to see in the future, but may not happen. But it's still great to come up with these ideas and just throw them out there and see what people think. And if whoever owns the Lego movie at the moment, be it Warner Brothers or Universal, ever takes this idea into consideration, then I certainly hope that they use my ideas and references as an idea for their plot. But whether or not they do a Doctor Who Lego movie in the future, we'll have to wait and see. But it's fun to come up with so many ideas and plans for a movie, and it's just great to throw them out there. And if you have ideas for future Lego movies of your own, throw them out there and see what other people think of them. I'm Dalek44, and I'll see you next time, folks.